Hello, everybody! Ladies and gentlemen, StarCraft fans out there, this is the Lost Saga MSL Finals, and I'm here with a triple commentary with Moletrap and Klazart. This is Cholera, of course, and we're watching an awesome new introduction, very, very fitting for the finals between Luxury and Jangbi. Both have won 3-0 in their semifinal bouts, both playing mirror matchups. Luxury beating 0-0, the biggest cockblock Zerg out there, having beaten none other than Savior and Yellow Arnak, two of my favorite players. But anyway, Jangbi just WTF poning Stork, who just unfortunately just isn't having that much luck in these Star Leagues, or at least towards the finals he isn't. And both of them are neither of them rather has won a title yet. So both of them are very, very hungry for their first title. Moletrap, what are your predictions for this game? How do you think it's going to go?
Yeah, first of all, I wanted to say that, yeah, you're right. Both these guys, I think they're very deserving of a title at this point. At the beginning of this season, I wouldn't have said that Luxury was deserving of a title, but the fact that he's done so well in both Star Leagues really has impressed me. And he's a little bit sloppy still. I'm still not going to count him as among the top players, but he's definitely gained my respect at the very least. However, I do think that Jangbi is going to take this matchup. I think that Jangbi's just been playing just absolutely ridiculous, and Luxury, he still does have that little bit of sloppiness going on. So, I mean, that's the kind of thing he's good enough to win games against lesser players, but Jangbi is playing perfect StarCraft these days. He is not making mistakes. And I don't think that Luxury, with his just a little bit off from that top level play, is just going to be not enough to defeat Jangbi. That's my prediction. Klazart, I know you haven't been watching a lot of StarCraft lately. You've been busy with your trying to get your book published and all that stuff. Do you have any thoughts on the matter?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's great to see Luxury and Jangbi in here. I had a shouting match with Mrs. Klazart earlier about whether or not they deserve to be in the finals. She didn't think they necessarily did, but she's a noob and doesn't know what she's talking about. But I figure anyone who makes it to the finals deserves to be there. It's like saying, well, if Pele was playing today, no one else except Brazil would win a single game of football. Or if Maradona was playing today, no one else would win a football. You can say that about, or if Magic Johnson was around today. You can say that about any player, any great player. But at the end of the day, you can only judge what you have in front of you. And in today's StarCraft, these two guys have reached the finals of a very, very tough competition. By whatever route they've gotten there, you can't take that away from them. As to which player is going to beat who, and we've just got Luxury starting up at the bottom left here at the 7 o'clock position, and Jangbi at the bottom right at the 5 o'clock position, and it looks like Luxury's initial overlord is going to scout in the correct direction. But yeah, these guys, they deserve to be here. The main worry I'll have is that I don't think I've seen Jangbi go up against a lot of top-tier Zergs in best of 3s and best of 5s recently, especially in this MSL. I don't think he's faced a lot of top-tier Zergs on his way into the final. And I guess conversely, how many top-tier Protoss players has Luxury overcome on the way to the finals? So that's something that's a little bit of an X-factor in this matchup.
It's absolutely right that you're concerned about it, because neither player has played any of their respective races in this entire MSL so far. Let's just go do a quick recap while we can. Looks like Jangbi going to set up for most likely a Forge Fast Expand. Yellow Arnak, sorry, Luxury, not Yellow Arnak. Luxury came from a round of 36 group, 32 group with Lida, and then he beat none other than Hwason, and then he eventually beat Lida, actually, and then Zero, and then finally he is in the finals with Jangbi. So he's not had to face any Protosses. Jangbi has had to face pretty much all Terrans and Protosses on the way up. Also, he went up with he defeated Fantasy, actually, very nice work, and knocked him out of the MSL in the round of 32. And round of 16 he went up and beat the crap out of Frozian, not really surprising. Round of 8, he defeated Nada in a very, very close best of 5. You guys should watch that. Came down to game 5. And the semifinals, of course, he 3-0'd Stork, which is a bit of a surprise for me. Certainly, actually, a big surprise for me. And before I hand it over, let me just go over the maps really quickly for this best of 5. We're going to have Neo Harmony twice, first and fifth games. Second game is going to be Carthage, third game Destination, fourth Byzantium 2. And actually, Neo Harmony is right now, 3-to-1 ratio, 12-to-4. Not sure if it includes these games or not. Zerg to Protoss. So it looks like Luxury is going to have the benefit of the map pool at least to open up with, and it seems like he's gone for an overpool. Meanwhile.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I wanted to point out though that although you are right about that, sorry, I got distracted there for a second. But these guys have been facing other players in the Pro League and in the other Star Leagues. I think Luxury had to face Cal, for instance, in the early OSL stages and that sort of thing, and he was playing really well against the likes of Cal, and of course recently, not that long ago, beating Stork in the World Cyber Games Grand Finals, that sort of thing. So they have been tested against the same race, just not in the MSL and maybe not necessarily recently. But either way, it is going to be a pretty good matchup, just in general.
Yeah, and Luxury's actually put down a third hatchery at the 10 o'clock base. So he's going all out here, taking the risk to get an economic advantage. I guess he's seen Jangbi's build. He feels confident that Jangbi is not going to be able to put too much pressure on him early on here, and he's decided to take advantage of that by putting that third hatchery down. It'll be interesting to see. Jangbi has had that probe in Luxury's base for quite some time now, and he has been scouting it, so he's got to be aware of how much resources Luxury has spent by now. And these great StarCraft players, they should be able to tell just by being in someone else's base the timing of what buildings should be going up when, and by seeing Luxury's buildings, it'll be interesting to see whether Jangbi is going to be able to guess that Luxury's actually put up. And Luxury now coming in with a group of about 5 or 6 Zerglings, and he's actually going to be within range of that Forge, because that Photon Cannon isn't within range of that Forge, and that's going to be horrible for Jangbi. He's only got a single Zealot out, and then we've got about 7 Zerglings here, and Jangbi might actually lose this Forge here, and this is going to be horrible for Jangbi if he loses his Forge early on, because obviously that's 150 minerals down the line. It's going to slow him down as well, and that's not what he's looking for. He's trying to back and forth with the ones that are just trying to slow Luxury down a little bit, but those 3 Zerglings look like they are going to be able to finish that Forge out, and there's going to be nothing that Jangbi is going to be able to do about that. Zealot is not in range. He's trying to go up the ramp and trying to find a way. He's now got a second Zealot out, so he's going to have 2 Zealots blocking the ramp, but he's still lost that Forge, and that's going to hurt him. That's going to be some economic damage. Meanwhile, Jangbi has found the 10 o'clock expo of Luxuries, so it's going to be interesting to see how Jangbi adapts. He's obviously already committed himself to this Forge Fax Expand build. Should he now maybe try and translate into the Bisu build and try and get some Dark Templars, and Corsair is going to try and force Luxury into defending these spread out bases, which will obviously be more difficult now that Jangbi's found it.
Wow, I think Jangbi could be in big trouble here. He lost that Forge, and it was really an unforced error. Really, I mean, there was no real good reason to put it there, and it was just a mistake from him. It was also perhaps just a little bit overconfident that he'd be able to hold off against the initial Lings, maybe that there wouldn't be so many Lings. But nonetheless, the Forge goes down, he's forced to replace it. It means he's not going to be able to go for certain options, like a very fast +1 attack has been negated. And the one thing that, is going in his favor is that he spotted this expansion. He does have a lot of options. Now that Luxury is very spread out, and he knows it, he could go Corsair Reaver or Corsair Templar, and it looks like he is going to get a relatively early Citadel. He could go for a lot of speed lots still. It's just kind of a standard speed lot Archon attack. A timing attack could be very good against Luxury, especially if Luxury goes for that standard Spire first, then Hydra build. He might just be caught off guard if he does some kind of Zealot Archon timing push, the 2 Archon push. But if he doesn't, I gotta say, I mean, I am gonna favor Luxury here with this, this double expand here. It is gonna give him a big economic advantage.
Yeah, definitely. He's. I mean, it's kind of clever how he did that, where he went for the early, and that's one of the advantages of the Zerg too, is you can adapt so much. And for instance, going for that early spawning pool, putting the pressure on, and then you can just switch it back up and just go immediately for more economy, and you don't really lose a lot of economy for going for that early spawning pool. Although Jangbi again kind of countered, he saw there wasn't a ton of Zerglings. He only produced that 1 cannon, which ended up a little bit being against him. But yeah, so he is going to have the economic advantage going into the kind of the mid game if Jangbi doesn't do anything about it. And a ton of Zerglings coming in from all sides. There's only 2 cannons, but there's a lot of Zealots and a lot of probes blocking those cannons. But there are a ton of Zerglings in the area. I don't think they're going to break through, though. There's just too many Zealots and too many probes. 1 cannon does go down, but there's still a couple Zealots in the way blocking that other cannon. But the Forge is going to go down again, and there's only a few Zerglings left, and so they are not going to be able to break through at all. And I really am not sure how good that was for Luxury. He went in with a ton of Zerglings. I mean, that was seriously several hundred minerals worth of Zerglings right there. It's hard to say if it was evened out by the amount of probes that he killed trying to get at that cannon, but really not doing a lot of permanent damage except for those probes there. So Wow, and then Jangbi once again forced to rebuild his forge again. Luxury still putting out more Zerglings, it looks like. His Spire's got to be up at this point. Yeah, there's some Scourge running around. They're going to be able to keep the Corsairs back in his base. Um, it's really tough to tell. That was a lot of Zerglings that he wasn't spending the money on drones, so he's actually going to be playing a relatively low economy game for the fact that he has 3 bases at this point, and now he's having to put up some defense for the counterattack.
Yeah, and here comes Jangbi streaming in with the counterattack. He's got about 7 or 8 Zealots that are now speed upgraded along with the Dragoon. I think Luxury Zerglings are speed upgraded as well, but he needs some Mutalists or Hydralists, and now Jangbi's going to be forced back. He doesn't have enough to take out what Luxury's got. He's going to need support in the form of DTs or Templars or something to really be able to do it. He's got 3 Corsairs up as well, but I guess he's waiting for the higher tech. I still think Luxury actually did okay in that, because once he put that extra expansion down, he obviously had the economic advantage, and even though he did commit a lot of resources to those Zerglings, I think he got enough probe kills in there to significantly thwart Jangbi and slow him down. We're going to see sooner or later, because Jangbi's going to have one shot at this. He's going to have one big attack that he's going to be able to make. And again, the advantage he does have, that Luxury's defenses are going to be spread out. Luxury's not going to be able to use a static defense. It's not like he can plant a bunch of Sunkens down to help his defense. He's going to have to rely on ground troops, and he's got 2 Sunkens at that 10 o'clock expo. Looks like that's the expo that Jangbi is going for, and I'm not sure if Luxury has spotted it with the Scourges, so Jangbi's going to be forced to retreat and change his direction of attack here, because his attack force got stopped by Scourges. Luxury does have some units, but it's just a matter of Jangbi has to commit himself here, and Jangbi is now coming in with an attack at Luxury's National Expo. Luxury's trying to make some Lurkers there. He's got Sunkens blocking, he's got Zerglings as well. The Zealots are now coming in, attacking the Lurker eggs, and it's just a matter of whether or not Luxury can hold long enough to get those Lurkers in place, because Jangbi doesn't have observers. More Hydralists popping out for Luxury as well, but the Sunken's gone down, most of the Zerglings have gone down, a couple of Zealots are dead, the Lurkers are about to pop, and Luxury is just trying to block the ramp, and he does so brilliantly, and the first Lurker pops, and his defense holds! Luxury's defense holds, and I believe he also had Lurkers morphing at the 10 o'clock base, so for now his defense holds.
Yeah, this is a strategy I love doing as a Zerg player, spreading out and then getting Lurkers right away to deal with an anticipated +1 speed lot attack, or just a speed lot attack in this case. But obviously Lurkers stop that kind of attack cold, and there's no High Templar there, so there's no way he can get through, even though his ground forces were temporarily much stronger than Luxury's. Luxury actually now going for an attack of his own with just 1 Lurker, maybe just try and do a little bit of harassment, and nice dancing there between the Zealots and the Dragoon and the Lurker. But you know, right now Luxury firmly in the lead in this game, I gotta think, and Jangbi actually building a lot of cannons. You know, this is sort of unexpected from Jangbi. I expected, given that he's so good with storms, I expected him to go early High Templar, and to go for, you know, some kind of storm break instead of just a flat speed lot break, especially after he lost his forge. You know, you don't have that +1 attack that benefits you so much against Lings. Right now though, he is going to get a couple of Overlord kills. I don't know if he's going to go for a kind of an Overlord game here, try to kill off the side. I don't think it will work though with the number of Scourge that Luxury is producing. It's a little bit too late for that. So Jangbi really, he needs to get some momentum, or else he is going to get overwhelmed this game.
Yeah, definitely, and he's been spending some money also on. He's been doing a lot of anti-air defense. He's getting Archons and cannons all over his natural, and a couple in his main as well. Oh, it looks like just one in his main actually. Just in case of a Muta attack, which never came. He was always going for those Lurkers. Although Luxury has shown himself lately to do a lot of tech switching and do a lot of dual teching. So it's really actually kind of prudent for Jangbi to do just kind of an all-around defense against a player like Luxury. Luxury loves to go for different tech at the same time and do that kind of thing, especially lately. So that's kind of prudent. But I think Luxury is definitely pulling ahead here. Jangbi, the way it's going now, finally +1 weapons for Jangbi. And he's going to have Templar out pretty soon. I mean, he already has Archons out, but he's going to have more Templar out to accompany his army. And at that point, he's going to have, I think, one more chance to do some damage. One more chance to really start shutting down these bases of Luxuries. Otherwise, Luxury's going to be at 4 gas, and Jangbi's going to still be at 2 bases, and that's pretty much GG.
Yeah, Luxury is playing a static defense game here because he's been ahead economically for such a long time. He's forcing Jangbi to make the running. Jangbi now coming in and taking out that defense that Luxury had set up at the 3 o'clock base just so that he can start another expansion of his own. And there's a possibility that this might end up going into a longer macro game because Luxury seems to be content to allow that. I think he's being a little bit careless here. He had a chance to set up maybe some sort of a Lurker containment. I guess he's smart and realizes that he doesn't have enough ground units to be able to do that, and that he needs to rely on some static defenses as well. But Jangbi's now built up a decent-sized ground force, and he really needs to make some sort of a committed attack here, because he cannot hope to out-eco Luxury from the position that he's in right now, and he needs to do some economic damage. Now coming in, trying to snipe some of those overlords, and doing a good job of drawing the Scourges into the Archons, careless by Luxury, and again, this is one of the few things that where Luxury lacks a little bit in his overall, and Luxury now coming in with a bunch of Scourges, and I think that only leaves 2 Corsairs surviving for Jangbi, but Luxury needs to keep a couple more Scourges alive just to take out, but Luxury's got so many defenses here. Jangbi's going to commit himself to Luxury's front door at the National Expo, and there's no way he's going to break through. He's just got too many lurkers there, and Jangbi's going to lose his entire army, and now he's going to get trapped on the ramp as well, and Jangbi has just walked into, I mean, is it just me, or has Jangbi decided to join the Taliban and become a suicide bomber, because that was a suicidal attack if I ever saw one, and he lost his entire army, and looks like Jangbi's military tactics are coming right out of the Taliban's notebook there.
I gotta say, I mean, the Taliban might be going for some kind of suicide reaver drop that actually does some damage. This was more like just some kind of bonsai attack, almost, you know, the end of the Pacific War kind of thing, a suicidal attack, almost giving up there. I mean, that was just not going to work. I think he had a total of 1 observer also. If you notice that Spore Colony is there to kill observers, and it's very, very effective of a defense. In fact, it's a very annoying, persistent kind of defense that's used all the time on, you know, foreign games also, the Spore Lurker combo. Defiler Mount going down for Luxury, so he's going to be going for 1 more tech switch, and this time it's going to be most likely Ling Lurker Defiler, which is very good against a Dragoon heavy force, and it doesn't look like we're seeing that many Dragoons actually, so it's not going to matter, but it's going to be very good against Archons also. It seems like we got a shuttle there. It's probably for Storm Drop, and Jangbi just constantly losing his army this game. Luxury also setting up Nidus Canals. Just look at this art of defense here. I love it. It really is a completely different kind of Zerg play than we usually see, which is kind of a mass Hydra game in the mid game and sticking to it. This time it's sort of a rush to the late game, and he's probably going to be well equipped with upgrades also. These 2 DTs are not very effective. It's not going to be effective because, like I was saying, Luxury is playing very, very well with the defense.
Yeah, he's definitely setting up a lot of defense. He's probably going to just, I mean, he may get another base here, but it looks like he's just trying to defend these 4 bases and retain his lead, make sure he doesn't lose this lead that he has. And now that he has all this defense set up, we're probably going to expect him to start being more aggressive. There's, is that
January.
Coach January right there? Okay, yeah, I thought it was. Jangbi is getting a lot more Dragoons, so that Swarm is going to be even more effective.
You are my summer.
But the thing here is that he's been bulking up his defense to make sure that he didn't lose his economic lead that way. But he's let Jangbi take a 3rd base, and Jangbi's now taking a 4th base. And Luxury hasn't really had much of an army on the ground. He's had these lurkers chilling around at his bases, but he hasn't had any kind of army to go around and make sure that Jangbi has not gotten more bases. So he's going to have to start macroing up an army right now off these 4 bases and try and keep Jangbi from expanding in. Otherwise, he actually will eventually lose the long-term game again. Because, again, you know, he has been playing... He doesn't have a ton of drones at most of his bases. He's just got like 1 drone per patch maybe, instead of you know, having them really saturated. So you know, Luxury has had a grip on this game for most of the game, but he's kind of letting it slip away right now because he's not really pressing home his advantage that he's had.
Yeah, it looks like Luxury almost wants to get to Sauron Zergier, just wants to completely overpower and just attack move his units in the end. I'm not sure that's a wise move, but I guess he seems to be content. He's been consistently killing Jangbi's forces. Jangbi's finally rebuilt a decent-sized force. He's probably going to be looking to make another attack soon. And look at it, we talked about Luxury's tech switch, and Jangbi's got a massive force of Dragoons. The key here is there's their shuttle coming around the south of the map, but there are Scourges waiting for it, and that shuttle might get caught off guard because it is not speed upgraded and it doesn't have Corsair support. So Jangbi's going to lose the shuttle, and the shuttle gets taken down! It's gonna go! It's gonna go! 1 more Scourge before it drops the High Templar! Storm!
Wow.
Storm kills about 4 drones. Storm only catches about 4 drones though from the High Templar, so Luxury not taking too much damage. A little bit careless with the Scourge micro there, and a couple of Zerglings going in and picking off a couple of Zealots in Jangbi's main force. So I don't think that was a great exchange for Jangbi, losing a shuttle and what I think probably at least 2 High Templar, 1 probably in the shuttle, 1 managed to drop in exchange for 4 drones. So Jangbi just not able to come up with any sort of ideas that can trouble Luxury, and now the Ultralists are out and ready for the battle.
Yeah, more importantly, he's got that deadly combination to fight our Ling Ultra, and what this means is he can go and very easily snipe off Jangbi's expansions. Now Jangbi is going to be weak from being spread out, because just maybe 12 Lings and 1 Defiler, if they don't get stormed, can take down any of these expansions if they don't have any ground units there. I mean, that's just the power of the endgame Zerg, and here we're going to see a drop, an Ultra drop, probably with Swarm, and he might just go for the buildings here. He might just take down the tech buildings, just stop Jangbi cold, and this is going to be just an absolute Zergling wrecking crew here inside of these Overlords. Very, very smart strategy here by Luxury. I mean, basically, you were saying he wasn't macroing well. I predict that he probably was just saving up for a ton of Ultras, like an absolute ton, because for a while he wasn't building much, and I think there's a reason for it. He's trying to expand at the back of Jangbi's base. This might get detected soon, but look at this! Oh my god, he's probably got some lurkers in there. Does he have lurkers? Because that would, that would explain why he has a quadrillion friggin' whatchamacallit, Scourge there, but actually it looks like it's just Ultras.
Wow.
Great swarm, triple swarm there, a bunch of Corsairs in the fray, but they're gonna probably get picked off fairly soon. Looks like we got a lot of Ultras and 2 Defilers inside of the main base here. I'm not sure where the Lings are. There really should be a couple more Lings to do the critical damage of taking down the buildings, so looks like right now this drop actually, might get cleaned up by the Zealots, but it's gonna do a certain amount of damage. Well, not actually that much damage inside of the main.
Wow, if he had had one more Overlord with 8 crack upgraded Zerglings, he would have taken about 5 or 6 extra buildings out that he did not take out that time. That was a little bit of a silly drop, to be completely honest. I think there were only a couple Zerglings in there, and they got taken out. Really, Luxury should have accomplished more with that. Now he's trying to go and attack this expansion, and Jangbi's desperately trying to fight it off with his squad of Zealots trying to camp in front of the cannons to make sure that Lings can't get, or the Ultras as well, can't get in there. And then kind of stopping up that gap and then storming the choke, doing a lot of damage to the Zerglings. But finally, these Ultras break in. I don't know if he has much more storm. That's probably his last storm on those Ultras, and now the Zerglings coming in underneath the swarm. More storms are going off, so he does kill most of the Zerglings still, and
wow.
his 2 Zerglings survive, and they're gonna get shut down by Zealots. So Jangbi manages to hold off, and he's got oh no, another drop coming in though. This time even bigger, twice as big as the one before. And let's see, he's got a bunch of Corsairs. He may be able to kill off the Overlords before they can drop as much. They're starting to drop now. The Zealots are already in the mix, and Dark Templars as well, but he's got a lot more crack upgraded Zerglings in this drop, and he doesn't have Swarm though critically, so if Jangbi can get in there with some Zealots, he may be able to take it out. But I think they're going to take down all of those gateways before he's able to stop this. He does have reinforcements coming in there. He's going to try and storm the Zerglings, but not before they're going to take down a lot of buildings. This time, Luxury did it the right way. He brought in the Cracklings and is targeting the tech buildings and going in for an attack on that expansion as well.
Base is getting
so
taken down. That
Luxury
drop was critical by Luxury.
I think there was a little bit of lag there. Go ahead, Klazart.
Yeah, looks like we've had some sync issues at the end here as well. Yeah, and it looks like Luxury is finally closing the game out. Jangbi has been defending quite valiantly, but he's now being overrun by Luxury's massive economy. And Luxury is just throwing his units in, and Jangbi going in for a desperate final attack with his Corsairs, trying to whip those Overlords down. It's not going to be enough because Luxury's got units all over his base. He's killing probes, he's killing expansions, and really this is going to be GG. So first blood to Luxury, quite a comprehensive victory, it has to be said, and possibly it could be argued a build order victory, because once he got that expansion going and got that initial attack with the Zerglings, Jangbi never came back in the game from that point on.
Absolutely. I mean, this game really shows the power of the end game, and we should have mentioned. Well, I mean, it was a pretty big issue that that Luxury was really ahead with upgrades the entire game. He got to 5-3, or right now it seems 5-2, much faster than Jangbi could get his attack and defense up. I think Jangbi right now may have just hit 3-3, or I mean, sorry, like 3-1 or something like that. 3 attack, 1 armor. Actually, only 2-1, so that is just not sufficient. GG coming from Jangbi. Luxury drawing first blood here. To be expected in some way, though, because this map is rather Protoss biased, Zerg biased against Protoss, but still an impressive long game victory.
Okay, am I back now? Yeah, I think whether or not he was saving up or not, Luxury just unleashed something there at the end, and just ultralists coming from everywhere. Finally, the crackling drops, and just the fury of the late game Zerg was definitely showcased there. So GG, can't wait to see what happens in game 2.